All right. So last time we finished a run using the Stormcarver's axe, which was a lot of fun. Always a fun weapon. And especially a fun weapon that we finally got to use with the proper build. Oh, let's look at some rerolls, because we did not have those last time.
Try to...
It actually has 6 available. What is up with that? Like, if anybody actually knows, please let me know. Like, why is your count so weird? Alright, what do we have for routes? I kind of like this route, except it goes... Oh, everything goes through the shop since it converges on shop. Yeah, I think we go this route then. Like, that's actually not bad.
I will get my revenge.
So what do I think of the each god's boons? So that's a complicated question. So I like Freya, but I mainly like only like 3 things from Freya. There are certain conditional things I like about Freya. So starting with her, let's talk about Fire Wave. Fire Wave, fantastic. Quite possibly the best of the wave attacks. I can't say anything bad about Fire Wave. It's just much better than all the others. To the point that it's probably detrimental. That's about the only thing. It's probably too good. In terms of Crossfire is very good, I think. The only downside to it is it doesn't benefit the same way as Radiant Crash does, but I'll talk about Radiant Crash afterwards. But like normally, if you were to use your right click here with this bow, with Radiant Crash, all instances upgrade bow, all instances of it will hit at the same time and proc the Radiant Crash for like multiple times. You don't get that with Crosswave. It's the one downside to it, really. But overall, Crosswave is probably the highest DPS for your right click, just in general. If you can keep enemies in the crossfire altogether, or crossfire, that's it, or crossfire, maybe that's it. The thing that looks like an X, that one. It's very good for bosses, I find, at least for the first 2 bosses. L is a lot more mobile, so it's not as easy to keep her in it. But overall, I'd say it's still very good. But then there's also Fiery Laser Wave, and that one, I've only found one good use for it, and that was with Ice Vortex. Ice Vortex hits a lot, it hits frequently. That's what makes it good.
You will pay in blood.
I haven't found it to work well with anything else. Even if you use something like that hits frequently as well, like the Thunder Orb, it still wasn't as good. Now maybe with Whirlwind it works out really well. Maybe. It's tough to say. I haven't really had physical fire in a long time, but I can see it working well there. I just haven't really had a chance to test that out. Fire Explosion is fantastic. I like it a lot. Fire and Poison Explosion are probably the 2 best explosions that you can have. The Meteor drop thing for Execute. Honestly, most of the Execute's just not a fan of in general. Usually the on-kill does Execute just better. So I don't think that there's anything I would say is a fantastic Execute to get. The Lightning one is probably the best of them since it seeks things out, from what I recall. Unless it was the Ice one. No, the Ice one's not on-kill that seeks out. Yeah, the Lightning one that seeks them out is pretty good. But that's about it, really. The other Executes they just don't do it, man. They need to be buffed in some way. And I don't know what that should actually be. Like, maybe just remove the cooldowns? Because the cooldowns seem kind of weird in the first place to me. None of them seem strong enough to really warrant a cooldown, and the fact that you can only do it when an enemy is in execute range, and has been executed successfully, is probably the part that's just odd. Ooh, Scotty String. If we weren't already built so far into Lightning, I'd take it. Or Lightning and Poison, specifically. So yeah, Freya, really good. Especially since she has such a fantastic wave attack. So let's talk about her opposite then, Scotty. Scotty, I'm not sure if they're even finished with Scotty, to be honest. There's no wave on Scotty. The right click and skill ability, I'm trying to think if that's even in there. Come to think of it.
Strength.
I think it is, but I don't remember what it is, and that's the problem.
This ends now.
But yeah, so Scotty, I think Scotty's just unfinished right now. And that's fine. Because what we do have for Scotty is actually pretty good. Scotty's on kill drops like an icicle shower that seeks out enemies, which I like a lot. Scotty's dash ability. Oh, I forgot to talk about the fire dash. Yeah, fire dash sucks. Although most of the dashes suck. Fire is actually one of the better ones for sure. It's just not good. What the? Man, his head got blown way the hell off over here. So Scotty, like fire dash, it puts like a fire ring around you whenever you dash like this. It's not bad. It's just not great. It's not something you really focus on. But Freya, or I'm sorry, not Freya, Scotty's on the other hand, what Scotty's does is it puts rings around you that rotate, and those rings scale with projectile count. So if you have a high projectile count, you can get a lot of rings up, which means you want to play close to the enemy, which is fantastic. Like it's, I really like that. It's probably the best of the dash attacks, like by far. In part, mainly because the dash attacks mostly suck. Oh, that's not true. It's really just one dash attack that really sucks. And I'll discuss that one later. But as I said, like, Scotty's just doesn't feel finished. And I think that's just where they are with it right now. And that's fine. Let's see. I think that's everything, right? The execute, the dash, the on kill. As I said, I don't know if it has a... It doesn't seem to have a primary, so it's like a wave sort of thing. And it doesn't... I don't recall if it even has, like, a right click. I think it does, but I just can't recall what it is. It might be like a vortex or something? I don't know. But let's move on. Odin. Odin is one that is very strong, but at the same time, never the best. It's like any situation where you're like, man, I wish I had Odin, you could probably say, I wish I had Thor instead. The only thing I would say that Odin has over Thor is the on-kill, is Poison Explosion. But the Poison Wave is very solid. It's a fantastic ability. The only downside is it's the only wave with like an actual cooldown.
One step closer.
I mean, not the best, but whatever. The cooldown's not that bad though. It's like 0.2 seconds. So I mean, in reality, it doesn't really mean anything. The main issue with the Poison Wave is it just takes time to deal this damage. So great, but it's also like a pool of like poison. So it's good for fighting off enemy groups, especially in this room here. Not the best for bosses. It's good for bosses, don't get me wrong. It's still very good for bosses. It's just not the best for bosses. That's about it. That's where that ends, really. The Poison Explosion, as I said before, really good. Very similar to Fire Explosion. And I would say Fire Explosion is the best of the on-kills. So Poison having something very much like it, I like a lot. Poison's dash, however. So as I said before, like Scotty has the best dash. Freya's isn't too bad with fire. Odin's is just trash. And I don't know if they're going to redo how homing arrows work, but basically you dash and it shoots out a homing arrow, which usually misses almost all the time. Like almost all the time. It's bad. So the dash is almost pretty much always a waste if you take it. I can't imagine it being worth more than the 50 gold you could have taken on a decline. And then anything else, if you didn't already have like something better in that slot, you would just take instead. Uh, there is a sprint also available for Odin that you leave like a trail of poison behind you. Honestly, not a fan. I usually just avoid it. It doesn't do anything, ever. Just not worth it. The execute on it though. The execute is fantastic. It's not the best, but it does do a not insignificant amount of damage. And that would also exist on bosses if bosses had ads in them. Like, it works on Hell, except Hell's always mobile and gets out of the execute area. So that kind of hurts it there, but overall, it's good. It's one of the better executes in the game. Probably the second best execute, if I'm being honest. As I said, like, the main issue with it is just opportunity being like the one drawback to it. You have very little opportunity to use it. But when it works, it works. What else does Poison have? I'm trying to recall if it has a right click or not. I think it does. I just don't recall what it is. Again, like, some of these I just don't take just because they're not really worth taking. Let's head down this way. Well, yeah, I just don't want to get the shop, really. And the mini-boss could also be a, whatchamacallit? Oh, God. And one of the God rooms. Okay. So where does that leave us? We've talked about, I think, everything except physical now? Oh no, we haven't talked about lightning. Lightning! So, lightning is like your boss killer. If you're spec'd for lightning and you get the lightning, like, boons, like, dude, it's so good. Oh, sweet. Extra projectile. Especially if you get something like, say, the lightning orb, right? Like, you do so much damage. So, starting with Lightning Wave. Lightning Wave is basically the lightning poison way of hitting bosses really hard with a wave attack. It does pretty good damage. It doesn't have a cooldown, which is actually surprising to me, given the damage it deals. And that's a very good ring. But yeah, it's fantastic for bosses. It will murder them. Like, just straight up, it will murder bosses. Lightning Fall, like the one I have right now on my right click here. Give me a second. Well, if I can hit with right click. That. Really good also. It doesn't have a cooldown either. So it works out very well with Lightning Orb. It works out really well with anything that hits multiple times for a skill. So like Whirlwind, Ice Vortex. You don't need to actually be spec'd into that element to use the skill for it. And if you're spec'd into Lightning with Lightning Fall. Lightning Chain? Lightning Chain's I kind of go back and forth on. I think it works out really well with Ice Vortex, but at the same time, it's hard to justify. Mainly because it does have a cooldown of like 0.3 seconds. It's not much of one, but it's enough to be noticeable. And it doesn't really need it. It doesn't do enough damage to really warrant having a cooldown, given that the way it works is best with things that hit multiple times anyways. So yeah, like, it's one of those weird things where it's like, I don't know why it's here, but it is, so we deal with it. Maybe they'll change it? Maybe they'll increase the damage on it, because that's the thing it really needs, is an increase in damage. If they increase the damage, it would actually be fantastic, I think. Wow, that was insanely fast. So yeah, like Chain Lightning could be better, if I'm being honest. It's just not good enough. Especially not over Lightning Fall. So we've talked about both the left and the right clicks. The dash, Lightning Dash. So Lightning Dash is actually pretty good. It's very similar to Fire, except it can only hit one target. But damage-wise, it's about the same. And you don't have to actually be moving towards the target with it, unlike Fire. You can move away from the target, and it works out perfectly fine too. It basically just hits something near you, and that's about it. It's very easy, it works well, I like it. You can't go wrong with it at all. The lightning executes. As I mentioned before, it tracks the targets, so that's good. It's not an amazing amount of damage, but at least it's easy to hit with. The lightning on kill, honestly, I don't even know what it does. I know what it does, but I don't think I've ever actually seen it in action. Basically, it causes the lightning bolt to fall from the sky when you kill an enemy. The problem is it falls in the same spot the enemy died, so it never actually hits other enemies. Maybe it's very strong? Oh, there's lightning orb. I don't know under what situation that would be. But yeah, it's a thing. Not necessarily the best thing. Not, as far as I can tell, it's actually a pretty bad thing. Alright, all of the ice. So this is what I was talking about with Ice Orb. Like, we got 4 orbs, 8 orbs, 12 orbs right now. And the thing is, even though we're not spec for damage with ice, this has a good chance to freeze enemies. So the utility on it is pretty good, even when you're not spec for it, as long as you have the projectile count for it. And with this lightning orb, we're about to have a lot of opportunities. Yeah, basically, lightning orb becomes your main weapon if you're spec for lightning. Like, it's so good. And because of how long it lasts, like, when it comes off cooldown, it's ready to go again. Like, that's just what lightning orb does. It's so good. That said, you want to use the charge for the lightning orb. It lasts a lot longer and does way more damage. Like, this is the tap. It's not as good. Like, not even close. Oh, this is bad. We're not really having good opportunities. There we go. Huh. Does this look weird to anyone? Well, I'm looking at this 5 for the shield, and that shield looks like it's kind of squished together for some reason. Oh well, whatever. So where were we? Lightning... We talked about the lightning dash. Lightning kill. Lightning execute. Yeah, okay. I think we finished all of lightning. So let's talk physical. So Heimdall. Heimdall is very much a thing. Heimdall's kind of weird. That's why I kind of saved him for last. What? It's hard to explain Heimdall, really. So Light Echo, which is the wave version... Okay, actually, I'll start with the wave. There's Push Wave. Push Wave does no damage at all. It's there, cool, but it's not winning you anything, ever. Man, where'd it go? I guess up here makes more sense, because then we get this. What it does, it pushes the enemy back. Now, I haven't had too much opportunity to play with this, but what I will say is it sucks. Maybe it's great if you're using a bow, but if you're using a bow, you probably don't care anyways. Yeah, like, I don't know under what situation Push Wave is actually considered good. But that's fine, because Heimdall also has Light Echo to fill that same spot. And Light Echo is different than all the others. It has a long cooldown, a 6-second cooldown, but what it also does is like an AoE explosion where you hit the enemy. And it's a pretty significant amount of damage. The only downside being the cooldown. If they made it so you could reduce the cooldown with kill or crit runes, that'd be fantastic, but I don't know if that's actually intended or not. All I know is it doesn't do that right now. But if you have a weapon like this bow, right? Let's say you get right in something's face and you hit with like all four arrows at once. That'll trigger light echo 4 times. So even though it's a 6-second cooldown, it's a lot of damage. Like a lot of damage for just a simple right or simple left click. And then Radiant Crash does the same thing. So that's the right click version of it. So just where you, like how you see like all 4 of these arrows hit at once, it's the same situation with Radiant Crash. If multiple arrows hit enemies at the same time, it can trigger multiple instances of Radiant Crash. Though Radiant Crash is on an 8-second cooldown, it's pretty good. Like even right now, I'm not spec for physical. It would be pretty good to take if I didn't have something else to use for it. Like it's definitely one of those situations where it's not just better than having nothing, it's noticeably better than having nothing. Like even that, like when you're not spec for it. So yeah, it's pretty good. Nothing bad. I don't have anything bad to say about Radiant Crash other than the same thing about Light Echo. It just needs to reduce cooldown with the things that reduce cooldown. If they did that, it would be amazing, like amazing. And that's Lightning Orb right there. I just basically instantly kill that boss or mini boss. Yeah, he had half his shield left, but it wipes out the shield real fast. Okay, so it is Whirlwind hit. I thought so. I don't recall that being all that useful, and it's probably because of the 2-second cooldown. And I remember it didn't do a lot of damage, so never was a fan of it. Let's see, the dash for physical. The dash isn't bad. It's not great, but it really encourages you to dash through enemies. It is what it is. No big deal there. The execute for it, I have mixed feelings about it. I said the poison execute's pretty good, but the physical one does not feel good. Even though it's also in a wide area, it's not bad, but it's not great. It's probably better than some of the other executes for sure, but again, like that's not exactly a high bar. And yeah, that's Lightning Orb, man. Lightning Orb is insanely strong. Like, when you do the charge version of it compared to the standard, it just wipes out anything in the game. That's how good it is. It probably needs to be nerfed. So then that brings us to the on-kill for physical. I don't remember what the on-kill for physical is, if I'm being honest. Does it even have one? I don't know. Trying to think, and nothing comes to mind. It probably has one, but I cannot think about what it is. Oh well, no big deal. So yeah, like that's the gods and their boons. Lightning is extremely strong, but that's also in part because of what lightning works well with, poison and lightning, and what weapons we have for poison and lightning currently. We may reevaluate these in the future. I imagine there may even be some changes with regards to the boons too. Like none of this is finalized. Anything I say now, I don't want to be like hypercritical about anything because the game's still under development. I just want to be constructive about criticism, potentially find some bugs. If things aren't feeling fun, let them know. But right now it's just too early to be very critical. In the coming months, criticism will probably ramp up. Like I want to see where they're going with the Muspelheim update, see what changes they've made. I'm hoping it's not just adding in the content. I'm hoping they change some of the systems. Like I know the ascendancy system is supposed to be changed at some point, and I think that's supposed to be coming with that update, but I could be mistaken. Don't quote me on it coming out anytime soon. But yeah. If anyone has any like favorite gods they like, if anyone thinks maybe I was maybe too harsh or too generous towards something, let me know. Like I'm always looking for new ways to play the game. And I do find like these types of discussions to be a lot of fun, especially meta discussions. A lot of games I try to get into like meta play with. That's usually where I have the most fun with the game. Thinking like new strategies, thinking up new like new ways to actually go about doing something, planning it out, and then potentially even just changing those plans as I go. Because again, not everything always goes according to plan. Sometimes you have to be flexible and adapt to it. And that's something I also find fun. But yeah, just let me know what you guys think about the gods and like what their boons are. All right, everyone, take care, and I'll catch you all later.